I will not be taking anything but compliments on this project that I've spent so much time on, but there's no way you'll be able to see my progress. I don't want any more deadline or projects I want to be done at a certain time. Right now I'm knitting slippers for my father, and I think my mission in life is for every baby, kid, toddler, whatever I know to have a stormy weather hat. So hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Oline and I'm a knitter from Norway, and welcome to my knitting podcast. Here I talk about all things knitting, my current projects, finished projects, planned projects. Sometimes I talk about yarn, just anything that pops into my head while we sit here and chat. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me this week. I am filming this week's episode a day earlier than usual. It doesn't matter that much, but I've had a day less to knit and to prepare, so we'll see how this goes. But I am really pleased with everything I have been able to do this week, actually, especially after the last couple of weeks. I have had so many plans and deadlines and they've just all been overwhelming, and I haven't had the time to get to any of them, and I feel like it kind of solved itself somewhat this week. I'm still kind of stressed and overwhelmed, but I'm starting to figure it out and get to a better place with my deadlines. But before we get into all of that, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing. And today I'm wearing one of my oldest knits that I can still wear and that still fits me and that I still want to wear. And that is my Marius sweater with a round yoke. So this is a slight modification to the super traditional Marius pattern. This is just a little easier and without steeking, without having to knit any of the color work on the sleeves before connecting. This is the easiest choice, and I knit this for a school project actually in 10th grade, I think. It's been, how many years has it been? 10? I can't remember how many years it's been, but it's been quite a few years, and I have worn this a lot through all of those years. I love it. It is a staple in my wardrobe. It's one of the few colorwork sweaters I have, and I think it is the only like traditional Norwegian colorwork sweater I have. I have been wanting to expand my colorwork knitted wardrobe for one. I have done that a little bit the last few years, but I really want to deep dive into more of the Norwegian patterns and all of the kofter and the more traditional Norwegian patterns and color work. I have been wanting to do that for so long, and my sister has a lot of traditional sweaters because she has gotten a lot of hand-me-downs from the family because she's not a knitter, so she's gotten all of the knits. And she also has asked my grandma to make quite a few, and my grandma is the MVP of traditional knits. So I'm always envious when I'm with my sister and we're wearing knits because she has the most stunning traditional knits. So I really want to start doing that as well. I just haven't really dared to do it yet, but after being with her the last week, I am really motivated to do it because I really want some of my own, and I do have my grandma to lean on, so that's definitely something I'm going to focus more on moving forwards. I really hope I'm going to be able to do some this fall and winter, but I'm also trying to not buy new yarn, so we'll see what we can do. But that's why I'm wearing the Marius today, because I am really into traditional knitwear after last week, so I just wanted to wear it. And it is also a really nice sweater because this is knit in drops alpaca, so I did not use the yarn that I was supposed to for this pattern. I think the pattern is from Sandnes Garn, and it recommended using Sandnes Garn Smart, which is a DK weight yarn, and drops alpaca really isn't. It's sport weight maybe, I would say, but it does work out. I did use the same needle size that I would, so I think my stitches just are a bit looser, but I really like it. It makes for a really nice, really lightweight sweater, and the alpaca makes it really warm because alpaca is a warmer fiber than wool. but it's also super breathable because of the looser stitches, and I also find alpaca really breathable. It has pilled quite a lot over the years, but keeping in mind that this is one of my older sweaters, I really don't think it is too bad with just a couple of pills here. I also have some snagged stitches that I haven't fixed up yet. I don't know when I'll ever get to that, but this is definitely a sweater with wear and tear, but it is one of my favorite sweaters, and it is also a sweater we have a family match in. I have made one for myself, I did that first, and then I made one for my husband the first year we knew each other. Actually, while I was being a milkmaid the last time before I had my son, I made my husband a Maru sweater while there. And then I've continued making my son new Maru sweaters every time he grows out of them. So this is a family match, is one of my favorites because it is a traditional pattern, and we always use these sweaters for our Christmas cards. But I think that's enough of me babbling on about this sweater, and I'll get into everything I did this week. And I think I'll start with the one project that's not knitting, just so we get that out of the way. And it's also been the project that has given me the most headaches and the most stress, but I am really proud of it now that I'm done, and that is this cross stitch that I've done. Just look at it. Please tell me it looks good. I will not be taking anything but compliments on this. I've spent so many hours and been frustrated so much over this, so I want all of the compliments, but I don't know what you call it. We call it klokkestreng in Norway. My grandma has made one of these for each of the grandchildren. I have one, all of my siblings, all of my cousins, so that's where we kind of have this tradition from. And then my sister has kind of picked it up and done that for all of the christenings we've been in lately. So for my cousins on the other side of the family, she did it, and lately also for our newest cousin on that grandma side of the family. So she's kind of the new go-to person for this. But I also really wanted to, one, learn the craft. I really wanted to make one for my son because he hasn't gotten one. And I am going to be a godmother in a christening this weekend, actually, the day after you see this. And I can't think of anything really more beautiful and personal than this. And I also really wanted to learn the craft. So this, my thoughts went to this immediately. So I've been doing this, of course, being me, procrastinated, started this project way too late when you think about the fact that I haven't done cross stitch before, and this has a lot of details. But I started a little bit with this part here. I did just the red part here first, and then I procrastinated for 2-3 weeks, and then while I was with my sister being a milkmaid last week, I started back up again because she was with me and could help me because she has experience doing this now, and I was also starting to be stressed, so did the rest of this, what would you call it? I don't know, but I did the rest of this while there, and then I got home and I've done this like hearts and flowers and leaves with date of birth, and then I have the clock with the exact time. This is the most painful to do cross stitch because there's so many color changes. The clock was really nice, and I think this was the easiest one. And then weight and centimeters, and then a church. This also was really nice, but I also embroidered the white church while watching a movie with my husband in the dark. That was not my favorite part, but other than that, the church was really pleasant to embroider. And then another one of these really painful ones, and I finished this last because that's the one furthest down, and then I did all of the text to at the end, and my brain was so fried towards the end because I had procrastinated so much. I finished this yesterday, I think, and that was the last possible day I could finish it if I was going to get everything done in time. and my brain was so fried at that point, so I had to unpick my stitches all of the time for this, because I had like when you do it in the like opposite way, I did that all of the time, or I didn't count the stitches right. Nothing was right. I started working with the wrong color. There was just so many mistakes that could have been easily avoided, so that kind of pissed me off. And then it came time to do the writing, and I had all of the patterns for the writing like under each other, and that gave me so many issues, especially with the numbers, because there is both date of birth and date of christening here, and I just kept messing it up. I would take some of the numbers from the date of birth and use that for the date of christening, and then just flip-flop between those, and I just didn't get it right. I think at the christening date I embroidered 19 and then 0 for the month, and there is no month at 0, so my brain had just gone out the window. Luckily in the end I did get there, but it definitely took me 3 hours longer than it should have, just because of dumb mistakes. But I did get there in the end. My sister helped me find all of my mistakes and sort them out, because for the last part I needed her help, because you do the embroidery on this type of textile, and then I needed something in the back to hide all of my ends and like the back side of it. So she had with her some fabric, but that fabric wasn't long enough, and I'd already been to the store so many times because I kept running out of color, and every time I ran out of color I would go and buy that color, and then I got home and ran out of another color. So I did not want to go back to the store anymore. I'd been running back and forth there for days, so I found a pillowcase that was white, and I just sacrificed that because I just wanted to be done at that point. So sacrificed a pillowcase and got this lining in the back here. My sister helped me with all of the ironing and folding and getting everything right, because she's way more precise and good at that than me. I'm impatient, and I was especially impatient at that point, so she helped me with all of that, thank God. And then I just sewed the lining on in the back here, and that was a really tedious part as well, with everything white and white thread. Not super fun, but way quicker than doing the actual cross stitch. And now it is done, and I am really proud. I think it's really cute. It's a cute, super personalized thing all about her, so I hope she'll love it. I have some other things that I hope to get done in time, but as I said, it's the day after you see this, so I don't have that much time. But I have finished the main thing, and I think it turned out really great. I'm really happy with this, and while I was working on this, my son has also said that he wants one of these, so I'm just going to catch my breath and take a little bit of a break from the cross stitch, because I need that, and then I'm going to dive into making this for my son as well, because he really wants to decorate his room with this. So it makes me happy to know that he wants it, but also I need a break. I just can't get into more cross stitch right now. So that's the main project this week. It has taken all of my hours almost, because it is a really time-consuming hobby. It was really fun to do, and I wish I wanted to do it more, because I really like the results, but it's just way too time-consuming for me right now. But I hope I'll get back to it in the future, because it was fun once I got the hang of it. But let's get back to knitting, because I have a couple of knitting projects as well. I just put everything in this bag here to bring with me. I think we'll start with another huge project that I've spent so much time on, but there's no way you'll be able to see my progress, and that is Camisole No9 that I'm turning into a dress. I love this dress. I love it more and more the more I work on it. I am enjoying knitting with silk more and more the more I work on it, and I have almost no issues working with the silk anymore, so it's definitely something you just need to practice. Practice makes perfect, or something close to it. So my hands don't hurt when I do it anymore. My yarn doesn't split as much. It's just way easier the more I've done it. Here is the top of the dress, and here is the bottom, and this has gotten so long now, it's impossible to see any progress. I can knit on it all day, I won't see a difference. I can knit on it all week, I won't see a difference. And that's exactly what I've done this week. I've knit a full skein, and that's the only way I can measure my progress, because I can see where I join new skeins. Other than that, I have no idea. Even with doing my increases, I've done so many of them now, so they just get lost in all of the other increases, and I am finding that I'm actually really struggling with that. It's really hard to keep my motivation on top while working on something that I don't see it change even if I spend 5 hours working on it. So I have to figure out some sort of way to make it more obvious that I'm making progress. I did find a place where I joined in yarn this week. I started a new skein right after last podcast, and I measured from there now before I joined a new skein, and that was 10 centimeters. So I have been able to add 10 centimeters to this dress, but I can't see it. I think you can see it a little bit, maybe if I find where I've done where I started doing increases a bit more frequently. That was up here, and so that triangle has grown a little more, and it's a couple of more centimeters since I started doing more increases. But it's really hard to stay motivated when it's gotten this long and big, and I can't try it on all of the time either to see the progress, because that takes a long time. So I'm just kind of working blindly and trying to keep some of my motivation. What's helping a little bit is that I'm nearing the end, but the summer is also coming to an end. So if I don't knit really quickly in the next couple of days, I won't be able to have this while it's still summer, and then I'll struggle to find anywhere to wear it because it will get cold, and this is silk. So I don't know. I really hope I'll be able to knit a lot in the next few days, so it will be done at least to a length I will want to wear while it's still August at least. I am on my I am on my 7th skein now, so once that's done, I have 3 more to do. I think I need to do all of those 3 to get to the length that I want it to be, but I love knitting for Olive. It's great. I really enjoy, in theory, that their yarn runs so long, because I won't have to change skeins all of the time. But when the only motivation I have for this dress is to run out of a skein to see progress, I kind of hate that it is so long. It's 250 meters, and that's so many meters when you're working on 3mm needles. Even with all of the stitches, I can just never get there. The skein just keeps going. So this is mainly a motivational struggle right now, but I hope that it will get better. I have made one change since we last spoke. I have done way more increases, of course, but I've also gotten to the point and the length and the amount of increases now that I've started to space them out a little more. Before I did increases every 4th row, and now I'm doing them every 6th. I don't know if that's a big enough change to make it easier to see my progress, but I hope it will help a little bit, and I hope being able to do more purely stockinette rows will help speed this project up a little bit too. But I don't have that much left. I have about 30 centimeters left on this. Maybe I'll finish the skein I'm working on now, and then probably another skein, and then I'll try it on again to really measure the length of it. But for the last couple of weeks now, I've only been able to knit max 1 skein each week, and if I keep up that pace, this won't be done until like halfway into September. So I really hope now that I'm done with cross stitch and I have more like free time again, that I'll be able to knit more on this. But yeah, that is the Camisole number 9, and this is definitely back to being the main project because I really want this to be done while it's still summer and I still can wear it. I still think I could maybe wear it in September, but I want the goal to be August, so I'm sure I'll get as much time to wear it as possible. So that is that. And then I have another one of my selfish knits. I'll just do both of those in a row. This is my naked tee. My son came to join, but I'm going to try to get through it. But I have... Ja?
Jeg elsker deg.
Jeg elsker deg også.
Men vil du ha litt vann?
Ja.
Ok, jeg må hente vann, ja.
Ok.
Plastflaske.
Ja.
Og så heller oppi den blå koppen.
I have my naked tee. As you can see, this hasn't grown a lot. I've been able to work on it a little bit, but this is definitely just going to be kind of a comfort project. It is a really fun color. It makes me really happy to look at, so it's a really great project to have, but I don't want any more deadline or projects I want to be done at a certain time. I have more than enough of that, so I'm just going to have fun with this, knit on it a little bit here and there whenever I have time to do that. And it's stockinette in the round. It's just a perfect chilling out project, so I want to keep it as that. So I have no idea when this will be finished, but I know I'll have a lot of fun working it up. The yarn is really thin, the needles are really thin, but I think this will be a really nice blue blouse to wear. I also think... Tusen tack. I think I've been able to even out my stitches somewhat the more I work with this and kind of learn what's needed to keep my stitches more even with this yarn and the needles. This yarn is kind of slippery and thin needles, so it was a bit of a struggle in the start, but I think we've figured it out now. And then, of course, as always, I try to always have a pair of slippers on my needles. I've kind of been really bad at keeping up with slippers lately because I've had so many other deadlines that I've been more time sensitive, but that's also something I want to get back into because we are heading into fall, and right after fall comes winter and then comes Christmas, so I need to get back to this because I still think I have 30 something slippers left to do. So really need to get back to this. I think I'm just going to try to get back into it now while it's still summer, try to get back into the flow I had before, and then once we get more into autumn and winter, I'll have a couple of weeks that are dedicated to slippers just to really be able to cram as many slippers into it as possible. Right now I'm knitting slippers for my father. They are again in Drops Nepal. This is Drops Nepal in the color orange or rust. I know this color changes names between some of the different yarn types. I think it's called rust in Drops Lima and orange in Drops Nepal. I have made my father a zipper sweater in this color already. That is why he is getting slippers in this color. These slippers are also in the biggest size, which is 42 to 44 or 42 to 46 or something. I can't quite remember. 44 to 46 maybe. Anyways, the biggest size, and I've just been able to start a tiny little bit, but I always find it easier to work on slippers when I already have one on the needle. So just casting this on probably will mean that I will be able to work more on it this week. And then the last project that I have that I also just cast on is the Stormy Weather hat. I hadn't really meant to knit the Stormy Weather hat this week, but I got a snap from my friend of her baby, and that she had just grown out of her first stormy weather hat, the one I gave in the baby shower gift for her, and we're going there anyways this weekend for the christening. And I think my mission in life is for every baby, kid, toddler, whatever I know, to have a stormy weather hat. So immediately when she sent me that snap of her baby having grown out of the stormy weather hat, I found yarn and cast on for another one. So this is the tiny little start of another stormy weather hat. I decided to do it in the size 6 to 9 months because I want them to be able to grow into it and for the best fit of the hat to be during winter. And I'm using Sandnes Garn Peer Gynt in the color Poppy. This is leftover poppy yarn from the first time I got Sandnes Garn Peer Gynt in the color Poppy at their outlet. This is the same yarn that I made my Ingrid sweater in, and it is really lovely color and yarn, and I really like the stitch definition. I also think that this particular color of Peer Gynt is the least scratchy Peer Gynt I've ever felt, so that's why I'm comfortable making it as a baby hat. It's also not for a newborn, but in size 6 to 9 months, and I'm going to wash it, so it's not going to be that scratchy or stiff. So that is the newest project that I also have just cast on and been able to do a little bit on. So I have a lot of projects. This again has a deadline because of course I can't stay away from deadlines. This needs to be done before we leave, my friend at least, but I have, I think, a week to finish this, and it is a stormy weather hat and my absolute favorite thing to make, so that will be no problem. I think this makes 21 stormy weather hats since I made the first one. I think it's going to be a year ago in September or October that I made the first stormy weather hat, so it's definitely been the pattern the last year. I think the only thing starting to come close to that is the slippers. I think I'm on my 11th slipper, and I think probably after I'm done making all of the Christmas gifts that I'm going to have made more slippers than stormy weather hats, even if I don't end up making any more stormy weather hats, you never know. But those are all of my active projects, and then I also have 2 finished projects. I have these slippers. I think they were almost done. They might have been done last week, but I think they were almost done. These slippers for my husband's grandma, they are also in Drops Nepal in the color beige, and these are size 36 to 37. I think I just had the toe of one left last podcast, so I finished that, and that's the only thing I've done on slippers before I cast on my father's slippers this week. So I am way behind on slippers, so I really need to get back into doing that, but I think now that I'm done with the cross stitch that a lot of time will get freed up because cross stitch took so long. So hopefully that a lot of that time will go towards slippers. And then of course what I really should be focusing on this month, because I have named August the month of scraps, or my scrap busting month, so I should be focusing and knitting everything scraps. Luckily the stormy weather hat is kind of a scrap. It's at least leftover yarn that I don't know what to do with, so that's kind of on theme. But other than that, I have not really been doing what I'm supposed to, but I have made one pant. These are the chunky rib pants by Jord Clothing, and I've been able to get quite a lot of scraps out here because I ran completely out of this beige and used a little accent color here on the ribbing right at the bottom. These are knit in size 0 to 6 months, and I used the leftovers after my friend's, what was it called, Augustins #1. So this is extra merino, extra fine in greyish, and then this is just a color I always have on hand, this grey here. This is merino extra fine in, I think, medium grey. I think that's what it's called, or charcoal grey. So that's the one scrap yarn project I've been able to finish so far, but I have spent a little bit of time this week planning out more scrap yarn projects and really deep diving into exactly what I'm going to make with every single scrap skein I have. So that's another thing I hope I'll have time to do this week. I think I'll have to make like a schedule for when I can work on what type of knit, because I am supposed to work on scrap yarn this month. August is the scrap yarn month. I think I'll have to maybe extend that into being both August and September, the way it's looking right now, but we'll see. But that was really all I had. All of my projects, both finished and current. I have a lot of projects I want to knit all at the same time, so I hope when I come back next week that I have either gotten a bit fewer projects on my needles, or that I've figured out the schedule so I can accomplish everything I want to without driving myself crazy. Because right now, even when I'm knitting on what I should be knitting on, I'm always feeling that I also should work on something else, and I don't want to feel like that when I'm knitting. I just want to relax and enjoy myself while I'm knitting. So I hope next week I'll have gotten to that point and figured out how I want to do things. But that is everything for this week. I hope you enjoyed. It felt a bit rambly to me, but I hope it was okay. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like and a comment. That means the absolute world to me. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!